Welcome back, everyone. Have you ever wondered what it would take to get a giant green troll to walk down a crowded Japanese city street? Well, wonder no more. Let me show you how I did it in Affinity Photo 2. I started with this troll image that I generated from Leonardo.ai. Then, I made a duplicate of this layer by clicking on Command or Control-J. Next, I clicked on my trusty selection brush tool in the left-hand toolbar. I made sure the top layer was selected and began painting over the troll. I'll speed this up here so you don't get bored, but the important things to remember are that you can make your brush head bigger or smaller by clicking on the right or left square bracket keys located next to the P key. If you accidentally select an area that you don't want, hold the Option key and paint it away. Now that our troll is selected, I'll click on the Refine tool in the top toolbar. You'll see that the preview background is set to Overlay, which gives this pinkish background indicating the areas to be removed. To isolate the troll's fine hairs, I can select the Matte Adjustment brush and paint over them. Affinity does a pretty good job at detecting what's foreground and background, but it's not perfect. You can also use the Foreground Adjustment brush to include areas of the troll that weren't selected. Or you can use the Background Adjustment brush to get rid of areas of the background that were selected but shouldn't have been. Now, I'll change the preview mode to White Matte. You can tell that Affinity got most of what I wanted. So, I'll go ahead and select the output to a new layer and click Apply. But there are some areas here that need to be cleaned up. A quick way to do this is to use the little lasso-shaped freehand selection tool in the left toolbar to outline areas you want to remove. Just complete the curve around the area and then click your Delete key to get rid of them. To get rid of a selection, just click Command or Control-D. Alright, this is looking good. I'll just click Command or Control-C to copy the troll. Then, I'll open up this city scene from Japan and go to Edit Paste in the menu to paste the troll onto the canvas. Then, I'll drag on the little nodes around the selection to make my green friend here a little bigger and position him in this area where the opening is in the crowd. I'm going to put some of these people on a new layer so the troll appears to be behind them. To help with this, I'll use the opacity slider to make the troll more transparent so I can see the layer below. And I'll make a few more adjustments to his position. Okay, next I'll duplicate the city street layer and then I'll drag the new layer to the top so that it's above my troll. Then I'll add a mask to this layer using the Mask button at the bottom of the Layers panel. I'm going to invert this mask by going to Layers in the menu and selecting Invert. When a mask is inverted, the layer disappears and you can use a white paintbrush to paint areas back on. I'll select my paintbrush tool located in the left-hand toolbar. I'll make sure the color is white. Then, I'll use my left square bracket key to make my brush head smaller, and I'll paint over this guy in the foreground. I'll speed this up a bit as it takes some time, and I know you're busy. Remember that you can make your brush head bigger or smaller by using the left or right bracket keys. And just paint over the areas that you want to appear to be in front of your troll or whatever you have in the layer below. I'll get this arm behind the guy too. That looks pretty good. Next, I'll do the same thing with this woman here on the left. I'll just paint over the areas of her hair and back that overlap the troll. Alright, I can now select the troll layer and go back to the opacity slider to raise it up to 100%. This is looking pretty good, but I want to do some more things. First, I'll go to my crop tool in the left-hand toolbar. I can resize the image unconstrained by dragging on the nodes in the corners. Or I can set the mode in the top toolbar to custom ratio. This is what I'll do as I want this image to fit in a 16:9 aspect ratio. I'll type those numbers into the unit spaces at the top. Then I'll drag the corner nodes to where I want them on the image, and then click Apply to bake in the changes. Alright, cool, this is looking great. Now, I've noticed that there are some slight shadows under some of the people's feet. I'll add some under my troll. To do this, I'll go to my Shapes drop-down in the left-hand toolbar and select the Ellipse tool. I'll drag my cursor to create the ellipse, and then I'll click on the Color Fill box at the top toolbar and use the color wheel to change the color to black. Then, I'll go to the Filters button at the bottom of the Layers panel and I'll select Gaussian Blur. If I raise up the slider a bit to the right, it makes a nice shadow look. Next, I'll drag the shadow layer down under the troll layer in the Layers stack. That looks pretty good. I'll duplicate this shadow layer and move the copy under the other foot. Then, I'll make some adjustments to both the shadow layer's size using the nodes on the corner and bottom. Alright, almost done here. And then I'll let you go. I think the troll is a bit too bright relative to the people. This is an easy fix. I'll go to the Adjustments button at the bottom of the Layers panel and select Brightness and Contrast. I'll grab the adjustment layer and drop it onto the troll so it only affects that layer. Then, I'll just move the slider down a bit to where I want it. Okay, now that looks good to me. Alright, that's about it for today. If you learned something and want to see more of this kind of content, please click those like and subscribe buttons. And, if you're feeling generous, this channel runs on caffeine. There's a link to buy me a cup of coffee in the descriptions. Not necessary, but certainly appreciated. Have a great day, everyone.